Hello, I'm Mariah, and on today's podcast, I will be discussing the treatment of incarcerated women in U.S. rehabilitation facilities. First of all, I realize this is an intense topic, and I'm giving you a trigger warning because I will be talking about sexual assault, domestic abuse, and rape. According to James Kilgore in Understanding Mass Incarceration, he says that up to 85% of women in prisons have experienced violence, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, and domestic violence before being incarcerated. Let me repeat that number, 85%. That means 4 out of 5 incarcerated women have experienced abuse or violence. For this kind of violence, there was most likely mental, emotional, and physical harm done to the person. Now imagine choosing between going to prison for 10 years or going to a rehab facility for 5 years. That sounds great, right? You get less of a sentence and therapy. However, for a lot of women, it is a living nightmare to be at a rehab facility because they experience even more abuse. In the book Breaking Women by Jill A. McCorkel, the author studies a rehabilitation facility for several years on the treatment of women in prison. According to McCorkel, on any given day, someone passing by the rehab facility may overhear counselors addressing women as crack hoes, low-down addicts, and dirty old dogs, and admonishing them to tighten the F up. Let's think about that for a second. 85% of women in prison have been abused, and a counselor tells them that they need to tighten the F up. That's like telling a man who broke his leg to just walk it off when he's clearly in pain and can't walk. How are the counselors helping the women? Well, to me, it sounds like they aren't. This begs the question, why are the counselors treating incarcerated women as if they aren't human? According to McCorkel, the rehab facility's mission statement may shed some light on this issue. The mission statement says, drug abuse is a disorder of the whole person. The problem is the person, and not the drug. An addiction is a symptom and not the essence of the disorder. So basically, their mission statement says women are the problem and drug abuse couldn't be avoided because it's just part of who they are as a person. According to McCorkel, the counselors try to break down the women by using shame, honesty, and discomfort to influence them. In a discussion with a prisoner named Veronica, McCorkel said that the counselors want you to surrender to the process, which to the inmates means that they are renting out their head. When a prisoner rents out their head, they're letting someone else tell them who they are. To make matters worse, the counselors shamed and manipulated the women through their main identity, motherhood. According to McCorkel, more than 3/4 of women in the rehab facility were mothers. The counselors constantly told the women that they were failures as mothers because they inflict harm on their children through their poor choices. One of the women in the facility, Tara, escaped from the facility to check on her 4-year-old daughter who was staying at her ex-boyfriend's house. When Tara was taken back to the facility, the counselors blamed Tara for being a bad mother who neglects her child because social services got involved. If the incarcerated women decide to surrender to the process, they will be accepting the fact that they are, how did the counselors say it? Crack hoes who are failures not only in life but as mothers. This does not sound like therapy or a lighter sentence. Actually, these rehab facilities may be causing more harm than help on the mental state of women. According to Irving Goffman in McCorkel's book, inmates develop an apathy and numbness towards the self. They undergo a sort of psychic withdrawal in which they are no longer devastated by their degraded status. The creation of a rehabilitation facility was to provide incarcerated women a resource to heal and help them get on their feet in society. But so far, I only see the rehab facility cementing in their addiction because they are forcing them to believe they will never be fixed. On October 28, 2019, the Washington Post printed an article about changes occurring within the prison and jails in Austin, Texas. According to Travis County Sheriff Sally Hernandez, she hopes to build a rehabilitation facility that will provide therapy and other resources specific to women's needs. I just hope this facility won't be like the facility that McCorkel studied. The therapy in this facility was legalized abuse, and that is the definition of injustice.